does. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the most awaited part of this evening. That is the conferment of the awards. We start with the TIOL Outstanding Diaspora Award 2025. These are very special awards. We request you to keep your applause generous. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular award is a tribute to a towering intellect and extraordinary economist, someone who was a teacher to generations, a scholar whose ideas transcended borders, and a proud voice of the Indian diaspora. Before we introduce him, let's take a look at this very special audio-visual presentation.
My heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You're simply the best.
The TIOL Outstanding Diaspora Award 2025 goes to Late Lord Meghnad Desai, ladies and gentlemen. Before we present the award, I would like to request Ms. Bhavani Rana, representing the Honorable Jury Panel for the Nepal chapter, to kindly join us on stage to read the citation for Late Lord Meghnad Desai.
Good evening. I'm really honored to read the citation for such an outstanding personality. Lord Meghnad Desai, the Marvic economist, diaspora luminary, the voice that crossed borders without losing action. From Baroda to Westminster, Lord Meghnad Desai has never followed a script. He's rewritten them. As an economist, professor, parliamentarian, and public intellectual, he spent over 6 decades challenging orthodoxy, championing pluralism, and proving the diaspora doesn't mean distance, it means depth. At the London School of Economics, he shaped generation of thinkers. In the House of Lords, he spoke with clarity and conviction. In his writing, From Marx's Revenge to Rebellion, Lord, he fused scholarship with storytelling, always with a twinkle of a relevant and a spine of steel. He chaired Gandhi Statue Memorial Trust, bringing India legacy to the heart to London. He headed Center for Global Governance, reminding the world that ideas must travel just like people do. And through it all, he remained unmistakably Desai, curious, contrarian, and culturally rooted. His economic writing unraveled orthodoxy with precision of surgeon and mischief of cartoonist. In Marx's Revenge, he cheekily urged that capitalism outlived its critics, Marx included. Hubris took aim at economists who missed the global crash while polishing their models. And in testing monetarism, he didn't just test theories, he stress-tested their egos, whether dissecting poverty or poking holes in orthodoxy. Desai pen was always sharper than the scalpel. For his lifetime contribution to the global economic thought, his fearless intellectual independence, and his role as a bridge between India and the world, TIOL Knowledge Foundation proudly confers upon Lord Meghnad Desai the TIOL Outstanding Diaspora Award 2025 posthumously. A scholar without borders, a voice without compromise, and proof that diaspora doesn't dilute identity, it amplifies it. Thank you.
Now I request Justice Sanjiv Khanna to kindly present the TIOL Outstanding Diaspora Award 2025 for Late Lord Meghnad Desai to Smt Kishwar Desai. And I request Smt Kishwar Desai to kindly share a few words of acceptance with us.
Thank you so much. This is obviously a very emotional moment for me, so forgive me if I'm a little tearful, because I do wish my husband had been here with us to share this very special moment. I thank the eminent jury for conferring this prestigious award on him posthumously. I thank the dignitaries on stage who are present today, especially the honorable judges, the the Chief Justice of India, the former Chief Justice of India, the guest of honor, Shri N.K. Singh, my husband's colleagues and friends, Lord Nicholas Stern and Shri Shankar Acharya, and the entire team of TIOL, led by Shri Shalindra Kumar and other dignitaries. The citation with this award beautifully captures the many facets of my husband's intellectual life and achievement. And so I have been asked to talk about his lesser known facets, which I, as a wife, could admire and appreciate. So if there is a bias, forgive me. I did love him very dearly. We are, of course, missing him a lot, especially his wicked sense of humor, which is why actually we forbade him from ever even entering into any form of social media messaging or anything, because we were pretty sure that if Meghnad got anywhere on Twitter or anything like that, we would be banned from several countries, because he could be very, very irreverent in his thinking, and he was very honest to the core. A small example is when we went to China, and he was invited to speak at several universities, and all the students used to listen to him, of course, with deep awe and regard, because he'd written this wonderful book called Marx's Revenge, and also he was extremely knowledgeable. And of course, being Meghnad, the first thing he did was he started talking about democracy, you know, the wonderful idea of democracy and why democratic countries are so much better off. So I kept looking around for the nearest exit in case, you know, there was some kind of an effort to get us arrested or something. We survived that trip and made it home safely, but that was Meghnad. He was always taking a chance on the situation, and he had a very young spirit, which was, he was constantly urging people to think out of the box. If you recollect, he was one of the professors, Nicholas, you would remember, who was able to interact with the students very successfully when there was a student rebellion at the LSE. So it was this spirit that used to wake him up every morning with a song on his lips and a new idea in his heart. Most of his friends will vouch for the length and breadth of his knowledge and the variety of his work. So he actually wrote a thriller on it's a fictitious thriller, obviously, on the assassination of the British Prime Minister, which is called Dead on Time. It was quite a remarkable book. But he could also write equally knowledgeably, as you all know, on economics, and even wrote a book on the Bhagavad Gita. He just completed his last book before he passed. Every conversation we had was an opportunity to discover new things. And one of the things I will tell you is that everybody, almost everybody I knew, at least all my friends, used to send him the manuscripts of their books to fact check, to edit, etc. Because of that, none of us ever needed to use spell check or Google because he was an excellent authority on facts. He knew them, most of things on history, on anything that you could think of, on his fingertips. His hard work was legendary, as was his capacity to read. We lived in an actual library because he had about 10,000 books. And he would have large piles of books everywhere. So there is this incident of one of our friends who was visiting, and he just could not find Meghnad anywhere because there were books all over the place. And he said, I finally spotted him at one end of the room because of the curly hair, because otherwise he just couldn't see him. And it was the same thing in his office when he was at the LSE. He was the hardest working person I ever have met in my life. But he would still be willing to get up and do something for you if you ever asked him to. And he was an excellent cook. So what happened was that when he proposed to me, he said that, we'd have to live in London. Obviously, I was very happy to agree, but I told him, you're making a big mistake because I don't know how to cook. So he said, no, don't worry, I know. And his Gujarati curry became a big favorite with all our friends. He loved theater. And had he been given a chance, he would probably ended up being a playwright or an actor. He used to translate, he used to translate Ibsen, for example, into Gujarati. He won a lot of awards. But his main love, apart from what I hope he loved me, but his main love remained Bollywood songs, especially old film songs. And he had a remarkable memory for them. We used to have, till a few months ago, a lot of singing sessions at home. Even before he passed, he had a song on his lips all the time. He knew all the names. This was before the 1960s, before he went to America. He knew all the names of all the film producers, directors. He was like a walking encyclopedia. But strangely enough, when he was in the hospital, what was very, very kind, and this showed the kind of compassion he showed to others and they showed towards him, all the love and affection, was that when he was in the ICU, we were allowed to keep a radio next to him and a USB, with all his favorite songs in it. And it was very strange that when he was passing, the last song that was playing, just strangely was Abhi na jao chhod ke dil abhi bhara nahi. And it was really a moment, I felt the universe was also saying what all of us were feeling at that moment. So thank you very much for conferring this award on him. And I'm very grateful to the jury and everybody else.